I travel a little bit. I don't know of any city in this country, Councilwoman March, you can't tell me a city in this country that doesn't have homeless people. Now people try to make like, because it's election, that it only happens in Atlantic City and that's the only place people are homeless and all that. I'm here to tell you that's not true. That is not true. And if that was true, if the only place that you had homeless people was Atlantic City, we could have enough resources to cure that overnight. What's my point? My point is that homelessness, or the lack of a proper place to live, is a multifaceted problem. It deals with income, it deals with substance abuse, it deals with domestic abuse sometimes, it deals with a lot of problems that causes people to be homeless. Not just living in Atlantic City. And let me say this, don't put this in the notes. Not just black people. Not just black people homeless. Well, right now we talking truth. That's what we talking in NAACP. The homeless issue is an issue for every city in this country. And not only cities, suburban areas, rural areas, just like the drug problem is. That's another story. Tonight we are honored to have a good friend of mine, someone who has boundless energy, who is a resident of Atlantic City, who is working as we speak every day on the homeless issue. I asked her to come here because, as I said, someone brought it up at a meeting a couple of months ago, said, Mr. President, are we involved in an active way against homeless in Atlantic City? The answer is yes, 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 despite what you'll hear in the political campaigns. So our good friend, the special advisor to the City of Atlantic City Office of Homeless Prevention, is here tonight, and she's going to come to us. Please let's welcome Ms. Deborah White. Want the podium?
No.
No?
I should be just fine. Everybody can hear me, right? Thank you so much for inviting me here.
Yes, ma'am.
This reminds me of my days in Philadelphia, the advocacy, the equity, the housing as a basic right. As the councilman said, my name is Deborah White, and I've only been a resident of Atlantic City for 2 years, but my parents have been here for almost 20. Used to come every weekend. They lived in the inlet, so drive straight down there. Didn't see all of the things that I saw once I started living here. When I first came, I got a job with Chelsea, EDC, and they worked tirelessly on the homeless problem. And when I started riding down Pacific Avenue on a regular basis, I said, oh my God, they need me. Because I have worked in community organizing, community advocacy, community development, just about all my life, all my working life, which is quite a long time. So I began working for the state. I worked for DCA, Department of Community Affairs. I work under the Commissioner Suarez, and I work under Michael Callahan, who's the Director of Office of Homeless Prevention. I started with DCA in September, but I was lucky because they placed me right here in Atlantic City. I moved here about 3 years ago now, and I've been working for DCA since September. I see firsthand the problem of homelessness in the city of Atlantic City. Unfortunately, our last point in time count showed 595 homeless individuals in Atlantic County. Unfortunately, they all wind up here in Atlantic City. So nearly 75%, 75 to 80% of that 595 are here in Atlantic City. If we talk about Atlantic City being 48 blocks, that's about 12 homeless individuals per block that you are going to encounter on a daily basis. And it's more than just, I didn't come here to, I can't solve the problem by myself. It's not like I don't have a magic wand and I didn't come with no kind of magic powers to say, okay, no more homeless. It's a problem that we all share, that we all deal with. No matter where you're walking, no matter where you're going, anywhere here in Atlantic City, you are going to encounter someone that's homeless. Why? Because Atlantic City is quite a nice place. And it is for the homeless as well. I mean, you got casinos that are open 24 hours, so they have use of the bathrooms, the facilities. There is a lot of places for them to hide and to hide from. They're not hiding. They're out in the open, so hiding is not the right word. So it's not a one fix to this entire problem. One of the things that I've been doing is working, of course, with the city of Atlantic City, organizing their outreach team. So they do have individuals that go out, encounter these individuals in a hopes of getting them help, getting them into some type of shelter. We got problems with that too. The rescue mission is not a place that they want to go to. It's not a place where some of them can go to. That's a private organization that can turn its back, close the doors whenever they see fit. So we got to work on that problem. We have to work on housing. That's I do believe that if your community is filled with homeowners and people that care about their community, that eliminates part of the problem with people loitering around. So we really got to work on housing development, affordable housing, keeping people in housing, and that to me has always been the key. I worked in housing for, God knows, almost 20 years. And affordable housing, low to moderate income housing. All the property that is developed cannot be Airbnbs. It just can't, not if we want to sustain our community. So it's a bigger problem than just me, but I'm here to work with organizations that work on the problem. I'm here to find a way that we can sort of collaborate, bring the resources that we have. DCA has already committed to bring in at least 50 vouchers here to the city of Atlantic City. And those vouchers can be used anywhere in New Jersey. So if we encounter someone that's not from here and they want to go back to where they came from, they can use those vouchers for at least 12 months, free rent, and maybe that would help them sustain themselves where they came from. And there are some, of course, that want to be here, and we're providing those vouchers. We're also introducing the city council on Wednesday a contract for at least 50 more vouchers to sustain individuals for a 2-year period, which means they're also going to get wraparound services, supportive alcohol, whatever their issues are. We're going to work with the providers we have here. Because Atlantic City, believe it or not, do get a lot of resources. But I'm not 100% sure that those resources are being used collaboratively and together. So my job, of course, is to make sure that if, Atlantic Care is supposed to be doing what they're supposed to be doing, Jewish Family Services is doing what it's supposed to be doing, county is doing what it's supposed to be doing, and if everybody do what they're supposed to do, then I think we can put a dent in this problem. I wanted to say in the beginning, I know the food is good, so that makes what I say go down a lot easier. So, I can take questions if you want me to.
Absolutely.
But don't expect me to have a one-answer solution to our problem.
Okay, we'll start with Diane.
There's Well, as a disclaimer, I'm his baby sister. Just, there's a woman, there's a woman at Tennessee and Atlantic Avenue that has taken that bus shelter as her home. And I don't know if there's a law, I'm sure she's been offered somewhere to stay. And I don't know what type of issues she has, but now that the weather is changing, I mean, she's there in that shelter. People are trying to wait on a bus. And I understand, I have sympathy for her, and I empathize with her situation but for the grace of God. But is there anything that we can do for people that really want to stay where they are? Is there anything except to say, I pray for you?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, homelessness is not a crime. So sitting on that bench, as she not bothering nobody, the police cannot ask her to move. Cause she got a right, just like us sitting on the beach.
No,
But-
she just moved in. That is her place.
But here's another thing that we
Answer the
have,
question.
yeah, here's another thing that we are collaborating with the police department so that they are not the initial point of contact. So when when you encounter a homeless individual and they're not committing a crime, they're not harming themselves or a danger to others, the outreach team of the city of Philadelphia is supposed to respond to that individual. And it might take, for some people, it might take one or more contacts, interactions. You know, she may not have a place or know of a place to go. So the outreach team from the city should be connected with her on a regular basis. She may not leave the first time, she may not leave the second. But if they develop a rapport, let her know that she can get help, and maybe help that she believes, because a lot of people have been promised so much, so many times, that they ain't moving because they don't believe that it's really gonna happen. So, you know, it might take, and that's one of the things we're working with the police department. So the police will be back up, but the encounter should be with the outreach workers from the city. And they're gonna start publicizing their numbers, so you'll have a team to call when you encounter homeless.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you for your presentation. I'd like to know what is the name of the free rent vouchers? What's the official name of them, and what organization distributes them?
So it's tenant-based rental assistance, TBRA. As right now, the ones from DCA are being coordinated by me out of the City Hall. The new ones that come out will also be coordinated by me. But I'm at City Hall for the most part. So there is Dr. Mitchum and that team of the red shirts. So if you call City Hall and ask for, you know, the outreach team, that will lead you to the vouchers.
One more, go ahead.
And the qualification for that is that you have to be homeless, or could somebody that's in a home already and having a hard time paying their rent, can they qualify that also, or do you have to be homeless?
That is a separate program that they do have that helps you with back rent or security deposits or first month's rent. But my target is the chronically homeless individuals. So they pretty much sleeping under a boardwalk or in a cardboard box. And those are the ones we're specifically targeted to try and get off the streets.
Thank you very much.
Alfie?
Yes, can you articulate on, and the first question to ask you is Atlantic City designated as a home, a city for homeless?
There is
Sanctuary city.
Sanctuary city is immigration.
Yeah, there is no such thing as Atlantic City being designated. Atlantic City has the only rescue mission or shelter in all of Atlantic County. So a lot of times now, there are other municipalities that's supposed to have their own plan for dealing with homeless. But it seems to us that the plan is bring them to Atlantic City and leave them. If there is 10 or more homeless individuals in a municipality, they are required to have a plan, but they don't. And we're only talking Absecon, Pleasantville, Egg Harbor, and not Callaway, Pleasantville, Absecon, and Atlantic City, just the four. But unfortunately, like I said, seems like the plan is to just bring them here. And we are working with the county officials and all of that stuff. There is really ongoing meetings that I attend with so many different groups. And we are trying to keep those from other counties and even those from other cities and states from landing here in Atlantic City. But summer is coming. I haven't been through a summer yet, so watch out. There was some over there.
Linda, you had a question?
Yes, I wanted to know, I mean, because, you know, Atlantic City has a reputation for being the receiver of.
Mhm.
But has anybody thought about suing some of these cities that
Yep.
keep sending people?
Yep, we have. We have, whether or not we.
Or are you thinking about it?
No, I mean, I don't know what all the legal ramifications are with suing a municipality or even proving that that municipality sent those individuals here. But I know there is on the, that other level that they have talked about it, Palestino and those guys. So there has been talk about it. I'm not sure where that's going. I didn't get to that yet.
It's not out of the question, Linda.
No.
Angela, and then Maria, then this gentleman.
My question is, in the city of Atlantic City, I sell real estate. In the city of Atlantic City, the people that own properties that could rent possibly, number one, we know they're greedy. Anytime you have a 2-bedroom for $2,000. But I think that it's probably going to be very difficult to even use vouchers, because I'm listening to you and you have one program that's proposing a year of rent and then possibly another for 2 years. So what happens is, and I know in my experience, once you get a person in your property, it is almost impossible to remove them. So with these vouchers, it sounds good, but with people that actually have properties and people that have been doing it for long periods of time, you might catch somebody that's new at it and think, oh, I'm gonna get $1,700 and I'm good, but then they don't understand or realize that when the year ends, what am I going to be faced with? And I think that's probably one of the biggest problems that the voucher system is going to have with people that own properties.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. And there's two parts. One, that we got to make sure that that individual can sustain himself or herself after that 12-month period. And two, it's an all-out learning process, and maybe you can help me through that, with realtors, landlords, and to accept those vouchers, because not all of them are, coming to us with open arms. But that, I mean, DCA had talked about having some type of presentation to landlords, realtors, to see, how they work, and really, maybe you can help me with that.
Okay, can we have one meeting? I hear people talking back this, because this information is very, very important, and we asked for it, that's why she's here. Maria?
My question is really, is there a mental health component that goes along with housing? Because a lot of people that are on the street, there's somebody that lives on the bench right in front of Cedar Market, uptown, across from my home. The blankets clothes and everything is on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, the
There
mental
should be
health.
some kind of mental health.
That's true.
Years ago, they decided everybody was okay, and they closed all the mental health things. And, you know, that used to be what Atlantic Care began as a mental health thing. And nobody seems to want to address that right now.
And I mean, that is good. We all do know that mental health is real. Alcohol, drug abuse is real. That's part of the problem. I mean, we cannot just put somebody in an apartment and think that they're gonna be okay. We are working with Atlantic Care. We're working with mental health providers. So if they are awarded a voucher, all of those things have to be part of it. So it's got to be a comprehensive plan, or it's not gonna work. And they have not ignored mental health. Whenever you talk about homelessness, you talk about mental health. And that is, you know, that's not my area of expertise, but of course it is Atlantic Care or, you know, some of the other providers that I'm trying to coordinate into all of this.
Let me just say real quick, as an elected official, I can tell you that there are a lot of resources that are being directed to the homeless. But here's the real critical issue. Since the white can't say it, I'll say it.
Could you speak up?
Say, here's the real critical issue on the homeless problem. The team of people that we have working, they actually do go out every day and interact with these people. I see them. I walk the streets, I see them. Two issues are the problem, and the society has to deal with it. If we could force people into treatment, we wouldn't have this problem. But that goes against the basic civil rights and civil liberties that this country has. That's the real problem. We have people who have substance abuse issues, as Sister White said, who have mental issues, obviously. If you're sleeping in the street, that's a mental issue. I mean, we all know that. What's the problem? If we could say, Brother Miller, you've been on this bench for 2 weeks, sleeping, you need to get yourself together, and we're going to take you to the Volunteers of America. We're going to take you to Atlantic Care, and you're going to go to treatment. We can't do that. If we could do that, I say if we, people who are elected, people who are in government, if we could do that in a humane way, maybe we could do it. And here's the problem, and just think about this. We have a president that's kicking college students out of the country for expressing their opinion. Suppose we gave government officials the ability to make people go into treatment because they're homeless. Don't you think that in some areas of this country that they would say that people are homeless who are not? I mean, we're talking reality here. So what's the answer? We're working on it. And we have to balance people's rights with public safety, with their own safety. And that's why I invited Sister White here to explain some of the things that we're trying to do. But that's the real issue. We can't make it compulsory. If we can make it compulsory, there would not be a homeless person. Not only here, y'all travel, I'm not the only one. If you go to Philly, go to New York, go to Newark, go to Detroit, go to Chicago, go to California. Los Angeles, they have thousands of people who are homeless. Washington, D.C., outside the train station, they have hundreds of people sleeping on the streets right now as we speak. And everybody has the same problem. Yeah, let me get this brother, and then I'll get you, Brother Bailey. Sir, you had a question? Yes, sir.
Yes, I do. One more so just adding on to what you said as far as the government aspect. I worked for Government House for some years.
Okay.
Now with Atlantic Care, but some of our clients were given vouchers. So
Yes, sir.
also what she was said is also very true. It's like once they get in there, they have a year voucher.
Right.
They no longer have a liaison to make sure that they're doing what is necessary for their mental health. So therefore, the opportunity for them to further grow or in their health and things like that declines.
Yes.
So by the time that year is up, it's a real battle there. So what I think what is a necessary need is liaisons in that time, in that duration of them having that voucher. There should be someone who is connected to Atlantic Care and to them to report back that they are taking their medication, they are seeking treatment, they are doing what's necessary to make sure they're maintaining the rules and what's required of that landlord, you know what I mean? So that's one thing, that there should be some support in those vouchers that are given.
Well, you're
You know what I mean?
200% right.
Yeah, and then also for those who are on the benches and things like that, yes, I agree with you 100% in self-determination. You have to want the help and support and things like that. But then the question is mobile response doing what they need to do to go out and speak to them and build a rapport? I heard someone say that.
They're doing that.
Build a rapport with them to say maybe the 5th time we come out, they decide I'm getting off this bench and I'm going with you to get services. You know what I mean? That's what it takes. So from all of us, it takes more patience and understanding of what the health crisis is versus just wanting them to get to leave from where we're at.
You're right. Tony and then Bailey.
I appreciate you coming. Thanks.
Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, real quickly, I used to volunteer for the San Francisco and Lansing, Michigan Community Development and Neighborhood Relations. And one of the big problems, the big elephant in the room, I think, is all of these other parts of Atlantic County have to send everybody here for welfare, food stamps, and all those sorts. Are there talk of any field offices?
Well, they do have field
Okay.
offices. There's a field office in Hamilton. There's a county field office in Hamilton that you can sign up for welfare, food stamps, and any social services that the county
Sorry,
does.
what was that again?
In Hamilton. Hamilton has a county
Okay.
satellite social service office.
I don't think many people know that.
They know it. Go out there sometime, you'll see. I'm not trying to be smart.
I mean, I'm out there, I used to volunteer for the community.
They know it.
And I never heard anybody say anything will come here
They have.
to these offices.
I used to work for the county, I can tell you.
Yeah.
But Bailey, wait a minute, let Bailey. That's right. Go ahead. Go
One
ahead.
of the issues with a lot of these homeless people, they don't have IDs.
Right.
And they say they have to have ID to access some of the things that you're talking about.
Well, Volunteers of America working on, go ahead.
Yeah, and we are too. I mean, we're actually taking them to get, ID, social security cards. There are quite a few that have them. There are some that don't. And between JFS and CSP&J, Community Collaboratives of New Jersey, they're actually taking some of these individuals that come into our office to the right place to get their identification. But yeah, they do need it. They do need it. They have to have a New Jersey ID, a birth certificate, and a social security card.
Yeah, but how do they get it if they're homeless? That's the problem.
They got it. They got it. And they can go and get it. They got them. I mean, I've taken at least 60 applications, and maybe 10 of them, 10 to 20, need assistance getting to. What I'm trying to do is make sure that they don't have to pay. If they're designated as homeless, they shouldn't have to pay for their, the fee that they charge.
If I may?
Wait a minute, Tony, wait a minute, there's somebody has an answer question. Lynn and then Kristen.
When the police call you, they come to a response. Isn't there a mental health person along with the police that comes to them now, or no?
No, there is a service that Jewish Family Service Outreach Team has a officer riding with them. But if you call the police is coming. They're not social workers. Their only response is to a criminal act, and they carry, a gun. They're not there to help you. So calling the police is not always the best approach.
But let me just say this, if you call the police and say it's a mental health issue, we have a program, I think the chief said when he was here, it's called Arrive Together.
Right.
So if you say it's a mental health issue, somebody is acting up, and my grandson, he works for Lanny, he can tell you, if you say it's a mental health issue, the police will arrive, they'll arrive with a mental health worker to deal with it. And we all know, a lot of times you say mental health issue, and it's a black male, it doesn't end up good. Not just here, everywhere, all across the country, it doesn't end up good. But in our city, we do have that program. You call and say it's a mental health issue, the police will come, but they'll come with a mental health professional who takes the lead in dealing with the situation.
That's what I
That's what we have. And real quick, before we get to Kristen, let me just say and answer your question, brother. And we're not endorsing any candidate, but there's a gubernatorial election coming. And the question that this gentleman raised, he's right, about having resources so people who are in these conditions have coaches or monitors or ambassadors. That's what they really need, because they have issues. They're human beings, they have issues. And they need people to tell them about their medication, to make sure that they go to their appointments, to make sure that they're not using drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. That takes resources, that takes money. And one of the questions in this gubernatorial election is going to be, is New Jersey, us, going to dedicate the resources through the government to hire people to do that? And don't forget, we got Trump talking crazy in Washington, and he's going to have a candidate. And people in New Jersey are going to be saying, well, wait a minute, why should we be taking our tax dollars to pay for people who have issues? If they have issues, it's on them, let their family take them. So I'm just putting y'all in the mindset of where we're going with this election. It's going to be even more important who the governor is, because he or she's going to have the ability to allocate funds about what we're talking. So this is not just political rhetoric. This impacts us, like Diane said, people sleeping on benches. We need resources. And if we have a governor who follows Trump's philosophy, I think things are going to get a little worse. Kristen.
So my question is, because we know that they haven't always been homeless, how are we making sure that they're able to get into places? Because even if they have a voucher, how are we making sure that there are people who are willing to rent to them?
Yeah, we we have vouchers on the one hand. Still need to work with landlords and property owners. So like she was saying, the realtor, it's not gonna be easy. A lot of people don't wanna take, the voucher, and they know if they have been actively out here, they know the problem with getting a tenant out and the cost that it may cost them to get rid of a tenant. So it's not gonna be easy. I don't know. We don't have them. I mean, we got some places that take, like they take Section 8 vouchers. It is some places that take them, but not nearly enough. Or, if them people don't want to get help, I'm all for having that coach or somebody to make sure. Because once they stop taking their medicine, don't go to the meetings, we even have a problem. If we stop paying for the voucher, we just made the situation 10 times worse.
Excuse me, I've been holding my hand up.
Yeah, wait a minute, but other people haven't answered the question, Tony. We're going to get to you, Brother Johnson.
You said that a minute ago, sir.
Yeah, but other people, Tony, other people who have not